in a town, folks can't forget it, regardless of what other virtues a man might display, before or after. It was always the killings people remembered. Moreover, as time passed and Sam made no attempt to ride on, but became instead almost a permanent fixture on the bench in front of the livery barn, or up at the Golden Slipper, mothers told their children to use the opposite side of the road. Tough cowhands from the outlying ranches stepped widely around Sam, and the liveryman himself told the deputy that Sam was ruining his business, sitting out there on his bench, whittling those darn fool little dolls all the time. How the killings had come about was simple. Sam, being a lot less than a 6-footer, received the easy and condescending treatment big powerful men usually reserved for lesser men. He was at the bar one afternoon hiding from the sun, which got really hot in Ballester in June, when a snowshoe cowboy named Forrest Banning had come in to take on a load of buffalo sweat. Forrest was a good-natured enough man, unless he'd been drinking. By 5 o'clock, he wasn't good-natured, and he wasn't drinking. He decided for some reason, no one ever found out, that he resented Sam Logan, standing down the bar from him. He didn't like Sam's mother-of-pearl pistol grips. He didn't like Sam's easy, pleasant look, and he particularly didn't like Sam's less-than-magnificent size. Twice the barman had told Forrest he'd better get on back to the Snowshoe, and twice Forrest had told the barman to mind his own business. The third time Forrest had spoken, it had been to Sam. He said disagreeably that he'd once known a dance-hall girl over in Kansas who'd used mother-of-pearl on her garters, and it seemed to him that no man worth being called one would use the stuff, unless, of course, he was more woman than man. Sam hadn't gotten angry then, as the bartender had later stated at the coroner's hearing. He'd simply smiled and offered to buy Forrest Banning a drink. Forrest had then said he wouldn't be caught dead drinking with a man who lived off cheap women. And that, related the barman, had done it. Sam stopped smiling and gazed for a long time at Forrest. Finally, he said, "Cowboy, the trouble with you is that you can't drink. I reckon you'd better do like the barman told you a while back. Get out of here." Forrest had then let off a bawl like a bravo bull, had jumped clear of the bar, and had gone for his gun. There were not, according to the barman, any other patrons in the saloon at the time. It was too late for the morning drunks and too early for the drinkers at day's end. So the only one around to duck had been the barman himself. That, he explained, was how he had come not to witness the actual shooting. He dropped down behind the bar and heard a gunshot. Just one. He'd remained out of sight until Sam Logan had quietly told him it was all right. He could stand up again. He did, he told the court, and looked over his bar, and there lay Forrest Banning with that purple, puckered little hole between his eyes, as dead as a post and flat on his back. Had Forrest drawn his gun? The judge asked. All the bartender could say was that the .45 was out of Forrest's holster on the floor. It could have been drawn out, or it could have fallen out when Banning hit the floor. But of one thing that barman was dead certain. Forrest Banning had never gotten to fire it. This, the deputy sheriff later averred from the same chair at the hearing, was the truth. Banning's gun hadn't been fired. The barman undoubtedly had told the pure truth. Just as undoubtedly he had saved Sam Logan's life. The second killing had been 2 days after the first one. In a way, so the deputy had philosophized at the second hearing, it was a predictable killing. When asked to elaborate on that interesting statement, he had said that when a man like Forrest Banning was killed, since he was an ordinary cowboy and had usually his share of friends, there was predictably at least one of them who was a partner to the dead man, either on the trail or around the branding fires, and this partner, after a day or two of grief and brooding, could often be counted upon to ride in and seek out his friend's killer. It was this statement, as well as the circumstances surrounding that second killing, that saved Sam Logan the second time. He had been sitting in the morning sun over in front of the livery barn when Vestal Johnson had ridden in from the Snowshoe range with his gun tied down and murder in his eyes. Most folks around Ballester had encountered Vestal a time or two. He'd been a steady hand out at Snowshoe for over a year. He was a quiet, distant kind of man, neither more